another beautiful day in paradise.
It's amazing. I really appreciate you being here.
Mhm.
So I guess, I mean, we can just start from the top, basically.
Yeah,
So you're from Houston, right?
from Houston, H-Town.
Okay, and you're a first gen, correct?
First gen.
So my question is like what's one thing growing up in a first generation African household that kind of shaped like how you like as an artist you are today? You know?
Yeah. Um, very, very, I think, yeah, so my parents, are based out of East Africa. My mom's from Tanzania, my dad's from Kenya. And, growing up, I didn't really listen to a lot of the songs that were popular, on the radio and stuff like that. It was really just African music, like old school African music, that my parents would have on around the house. And I'm saying it's not even real songs. Like I think a lot of it was like live performance videos and just like someone was just recording like a live performance, and that was kind of what was going on around my house. I think it's definitely changed the way that I think about music, fundamentally, because with them and the music that they create, I felt like there was a lot of melodically driven, kind of earwormy, um, earwormy kind of elements within how they would kind of create their records. And it wasn't until like fourth or fifth grade that I even like discovered Eminem, for instance. I remember that moment. I was in a bus with one of my friends, Nathan. Shout out Nathan. But he just like lent me his earpod, but AirPods. It's not even an AirPod at that point. What was it? Like it just the wired iPhone headphones. And every morning, like to school, he would play me a new album. I remember listening to a handful of records and being like, "Yo, I have never experienced anything like this." But I think I wouldn't have it any other way though, because I think when I like growing up, those sounds have always been pretty ingrained into me, and I think that it comes out in my music for sure.
So like when did music stop being a hobby and you were like, I'm gonna pursue this and see where it takes me? Like when did that journey start for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I so okay, a little bit of backstory. I was in this song and dance youth ministry at my church, from when I was like 9 to 16, and basically, they were basically teaching us the arts, like the performing arts, like acting, dance, and singing. And at the time when I was like 9, 10, I remember the first day that I kind of was forced to do it. My dad was basically like, "You're going to go to this and you're gonna be happy." And I remember genuinely actually like crying. Like I was crying on the way home, like, "No, I don't want to do this." Like genuinely. And like the first day I fell in love with it, like fully. And I remember walking out of that and being like, "I want to do this, forever." Fast forward from 9 to like when I hit like 14, 15, ended up becoming one of the people that would teach the younger kids like how to sing and dance and all that stuff. And eventually we'd do outreaches and we'd play at Rockets games like halftime. We did a few like Dynamo Houston, soccer, things, and we perform at a place called Kima Boardwalk. And just a bunch of really really cool things. And it was really it was really cool, and it felt like I kind of felt a piece of my calling when the kids would kind of look up to me, and like being a role model and being in that like space really kind of like changed kind of like yeah, that's a good call. um it really kind of changed my, I think, trajectory in a really holistic way, if I could say it that way. But that was kind of the moment. There was a moment around when I was like 16 when I was like, yo, I want to be someone that kind of just shines a light in any way that I can, um, through music and performing.
Like when it comes to your family, was it like when it comes to the dream of like you wanting to like pursue music full time,
Hmm.
was it like did you have to like prove it to them, or like what did they think, like how'd that conversation go? Because I know it can be
Yeah,
a little dicey.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My parents, are foreign parents, so yeah, college, medical school, go to become a lawyer, something that's gonna actually, put food on the table
Right.
in a meaningful way. So I did have to prove it to them, and I think honestly, they always believed in my ability. I think my dad caught me singing Scooby Doo, like the theme song of Scooby Doo, when I was like a super young kid, and he was like, "Wait a minute, you could sing for real." And but I literally had to get on national television for them to be like, "Oh, okay, so you're actually good." Like, so I started like auditioning for different TV shows when I was like 15. Um and hilariously, I remember I auditioned, they lowered the audition age on American Idol to 15. And so I was like, "You know what? I'm going to show up as soon as I turn 15. I'm going to do it." And I waited in the cattle call line, which is what they call the first round. They
Gotcha.
basically bring everybody to like a stadium around you, and then just one by one, people go down to the bottom of the floor and just audition for a bunch of producers, just like, bunch of producers and
TV producers, you were.
TV
Yeah,
producers,
yeah, okay,
TV
okay, yeah.
producers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so literally they want you to get there at like 6 a.m., right? And so from 6 a.m. to whenever you audition, which for me, I'm saying like this was like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. You're just sitting up in the rafters, just kind of like watching people succeed or fail, and it's just so obvious because they have, the left is everybody that's not making it, and the right is like the people that make it to the next round. And I think that just psyched me out. I was just watching that for hours, and I remember starting my audition in the wrong key. Yeah,
Oh
I started
no.
my audition in the wrong key, and then I got to the part. I think, what was my song? I did "With You" by Chris Brown. This is when I was 15, and I remember just being like, "With you." It was like at the top, and it was just like, "Yo." Needless to say, I didn't make it. I didn't make it. And I think that started like a little villain arc for me. And at 16, I re-auditioned for American Idol, and I remember them wanting me to show up at 6 a.m. and being like, "No." Like I was telling, like my mom was, bless her soul, she's so supportive, and she was with me every step of the way during this time. Um, and still is. But she was like, "Yo, we were out there from 6 in the morning till whenever.
Hmm.
Let's just pull up at like, you went on at 2 p.m. Let's just pull up at 2." And if they let you in, they let you in. If they don't, hey, whatever. Let bygones be bygones. We pull up at 2. I end up being the last group to perform. And long story short, I make it through that round, and then eventually get to make it on the show. And yeah, this is the first time that I made it to like Hollywood, to LA period, and all that stuff. But I think when I made it through those rounds and
Hmm.
eventually like made it on the show, that's when they were basically like, "Okay, yeah, maybe you might have something here."
So how did like American Idol like change your confidence and like and made you be like, okay, I think I can do this for real?
Um, well, being in the mix with basically the best singers in America, um, definitely, um, it definitely gave me confidence. It also showed me where the ceiling kind of is and how much better and what my potential could be.
Right.
So it was kind of like a weird double-edged sword, which ultimately kind of um, ended up being positive for myself because I was like, yo, there's only about 3 other people that are 16 um, in this room right now.
It's pretty
Know?
young.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a lot of different moving pieces, obviously dealing with national television.
What's something that the not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
what's something that the cameras like never showed that you're like, oh, if only they knew?
Oh man. Well, even for my audition, I mean, basically in general, a lot of things kind of just got cut and condensed, you know.
Right,
So for
right.
my audition, I ended up being the last person to audition in my city, and this is for the producer rounds, like the real audition. And I remember like me and Mariah, like okay, so I also didn't say this. The people that were auditioning at the time were Keith Urban, Mariah Carey, Randy Jackson, and Nicki Minaj.
And you sang in front of them?
And I sang in front of them.
Insanity.
Yeah, and I was the last one. Since I was the last one, they basically gave me all the stops. I was able to talk as long as I wanted. They basically were talking as long as they wanted. They eventually brought my parents and my little brother Biko, who's taller than me, which is messed up. But and we were all just chopping it up, and there's like 100 TV producers like on the second floor just watching in dead silence. It was very, very surreal. But most of that got cut out. In fact, they kind of cut half of my audition actually too.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be very surprised. Like a lot of things, everything that you basically see has been condensed for sure.
When did you, not to like switch topics, but like I'm really interested. When did you decide to leave Houston and be like, I'm going to LA? Like, was it short time after that or was it a while? Or
It was immediately after I got cut, basically.
interesting.
Yeah. So during American Idol, this season they were splitting up the girls and the boys, and I made it to top 20 guys, which ultimately is basically the round right before the live shows.
Right.
And I remember being in my hotel room with my parents and my brother, and I was just like, this can't be where it ends. Like I'm definitely gonna make this happen. And it was actually my parents' idea to uproot our lives and move to LA the first time I moved.
You moved with them.
With them.
They moved out here
They
for
moved
you.
out here with me. Yeah.
Crazy.
Nuts. Yeah. Nuts. There was a moment actually when they said that where I was a little bit worried. I was like, are we sure, guys?
I got to do it now. Like,
yeah, like now it's got to happen, you know? And I think that was also a big motivator for those first earlier years of me kind of like, you know, really, really locking into like the social media realm of things and being online and live streaming and stuff like that, which I'm definitely happy to talk about. We sort of somewhat talked about what we were going to talk about today, but I think that would be a good one to like kind of touch on like my like social media kind of world.
Oh yeah, I didn't even really. I had some questions prepared, but I didn't even.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about how you kind of like caught a wave and how you ended up going on tour. This is all in that same time frame, right?
Yeah. So that's yes.
So your parents are still out here when. I mean, we'll get to how you got to what I'm about to say, but
yeah,
when you went on tour, your parents are still in LA when you went to go do that.
Yeah.
Tell people a little bit more about how you ended up going on tour and like your social media presence, and then like what was that like?
Yeah. That was a pretty big roller coaster. After I got on the show, basically within literally the like right during my audition, I was gaining traction online. Hilariously, there was a hashtag that was trending after my audition It was hashtag Black Bieber, which is so funny because people still compare me to Bieber. And yeah, Justin's a goat.
That's
man.
amazing.
Justin's a goat. I can't even be mad, not at all. But I do remember gaining traction specifically on Twitter because Twitter was kind of like the big platform at the time.
Mhm.
And I kind of just took that and I was looking for ways to just connect with them outside, like after Idol. And so I, you know, keeping in mind, like, obviously YouTube was a thing, but I wanted to take it a place where not many people were doing. Like I wanted to do something that not many other people were doing.
Right.
And at the time, live streaming was a very new thing. So I was trying out different platforms. I think I was on a platform called Ustream.
And what year was this? I'm sorry.
Shoot, man. I think this was like end of 2015, beginning of 2016, something crazy like
Got
that.
you.
Um,
Okay, just to put it in context for people at home.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, totally. And I was on there for a little bit, just kind of like connecting with people. And then one day, my mom was like, "Yo, you should try this platform called YouNow. It seems to be doing well, and people are like singing on there, and you know, seems to be cool." And I started that like right at the end of 2015 and then kind of like into the start of 2016 if I'm correct, something like that. And during that time I had become the fastest person to get partnered on the platform,
Wow.
and I got partnered within like a month, which was unheard of. And then 2 months after that I was on tour, which was crazy.
Yo.
Not gonna lie, that shit was surreal.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but I bet you at the time, I bet you were really surprised.
I was so surprised. I mean, I really was still kind of getting in the mix of what that all even looked like. I wasn't really aware how popular and how big social media was getting at the time.
Right.
But I was able to go on tour with all of the popular creators on YouNow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking like these people had like, and they're still my friends to this day. They had millions of followers, still have millions of followers, but they were like doing numbers online. And so like 12 of us headlined a 30 city like tour. We all crammed into a tour bus and just went on the road.
What's something people think touring life is like versus like what it actually is?
Ooh.
Because I've always wondered like what it was like to go on the road because it sounds fun, it sounds amazing, but I bet it's different.
It's definitely it's monotonous, to be fair.
Gotcha.
I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's like especially with how we were doing it, there were no hotels or anything like that. We got on the bus, drove, got to the venue, performed essentially, got back on the bus, went to sleep, woke up in a different city, did the whole thing over again.
Wow.
And it's just like 12 of us all in our little, bunk bed, cubicle-esque, things. And the only thing that really brought everything to life was the show and getting to connect with the fans. But there is a world where, consistently nailing your set all the time, and being in a different city without having like a cater,
Right.
just kind of like eating whatever like you can. And we were showering in the venue, which, we're trying to save money, obviously,
Of course.
but 12 kids using one shower, pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's pretty insane.
It's got to be a little dicey.
A little bit. Yeah.
Was there like a night on stage when you were like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I need to be doing, and this like that, that made you feel like it's like this is fulfilling my purpose almost.
Yeah. Definitely. And I would probably say it was the Dallas show, which is somewhere in the middle of the tour. But I think what really made me feel like I was built for it was the fact that I was able to consistently perform every night, and every show felt real and felt exciting. And I remember there wasn't a lot of other artists that were on that tour. It was kind of like a glorified meet and greet in a sense for
Got
that
you.
tour. But I remember the other singers kind of like starting to like kind of like go down, like and get sick, and that just wasn't the case for me. I was blessed, on all my tours. Knock on wood. Oh shoot. But on all my tours, I never really got sick. And I just remember being like, I can do this all all day forever. So that was Dallas. The Dallas stop for that tour was the moment. There was a second moment too. Um, and I guess I could keep telling the story a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
keep going.
after that tour, I ended up putting out basically like the first song that I'd ever written that I felt proud of. Um, and I ended up putting that out right before I went on tour again. With my homie, good friend Jacob Sartorius. And I remember
Shout out Jacob.
Shout out Jacob. Yeah, Jacob's freaking awesome. But I remember putting out the song. I go on tour with Jacob. First show, this is actually a funny story. I didn't think I was gonna tell this. The first show, right before my final song, which ends up being my basically only single at the time, "Thinking About You," they start going, Jacob, Jacob. And I'm like, oh, dang, they really just don't want me up here. And to be fair, I tried to tell them, like, I was like, guys, y'all want me up there for 25 minutes. People know me a little bit, but they don't know me like they know you. Everybody's here for you.
Right.
And so it was one of those things where it's like, I had to deal with like a little bit of uncomfort in those moments, because clearly people wanted to see Jacob, and I was like, I was opening, um, and it was just crazy, man. Like, fast forward, my song starts going viral on Musically, which is now TikTok, but it was Musically at the time. If you know, you know. But and people were started singing every word towards the end of the tour. It was crazy. And I remember being in Dublin, Ireland, and
You went overseas too.
I went overseas. Yeah, we went
Wow.
overseas. Yeah, this tour was nuts. Like,
That's insane. I did not know that. You never told me that.
yeah, we went overseas. I was in Europe. I didn't go to the Australia leg, I think, but he ended up going all over. Um, but yeah, I was in Dublin, Ireland, and I was like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. There's no way I'm going to let myself not do this for the rest of my life. And so that was a major moment.
Fire.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, you're an artist first, obviously, but since I've met you, you've kind of been in your songwriter bag. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you've written songs, but building your own artist career has been like a different challenge. Like, why do you think that is?
I mean, well, I think there's something cool about being a songwriter, in the sense that you can kind of step into someone's world and help tell their story and bring their world to life. Um, Being an artist is tough because you have to tell your own story, and sometimes you're still creating that story. I mean, we're all still creating our stories, but then you got to figure out how to package that and share it to the world. Um, and it can become tough, especially when you're kind of being swayed by the things that are happening around you online, and people that are getting popular. It's like, well, that guy's got, teardrop tattoos. Maybe I could do that. And like
Just
that's working for him.
Just
like,
get blasted.
Yeah,
Crazy.
get completely blasted. Now I do want to get tattoos at some point.
I've been saying that for years, but I'm like, I might just miss like.
It's the first one is tough, man. I don't know where to put it. Like you don't know what you want it to be, but I do know that I definitely want tattoos. But to prove a point, you just
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
like this person's doing EDM, this person's rapping. Like what do I do? I just want this to work. But I think finding that balance where you can stay true to yourself and find a way to tell your story in the most authentic and genuine way, and then that's tough.
This wasn't really in my itinerary of things to say that I had lined up for you, but I kind of wanted to touch on it. For people who don't know, we did a song for Mario. Shout out to Mario.
Shout out Mario.
And shout out to Reef for setting the play up, which was awesome.
Reef skis.
But I wanted you to tell me your perspective on like how that went down, what happened afterwards, and then I know that you guys saw each other again after it came out, and I was kind of.
Oh, do you want to spill the tea?
I mean, a little bit. I think people would love to know like why it's hard out here being like an independent writer like us,
Yeah.
Because I think people need to know like what
Yeah.
happened.
It
It wasn't bad necessarily. It wasn't
bad, and this is the thing. Like I shout out Mario. He's really one of the few people that is actually willing to kind of open their door
100%.
to new acts and new talent. And the only reason we ended up getting the title track to his EP, Mood Swings, you guys should check it out, is because of that. Track one. Is because of that fact,
Right.
And I preface everything about the situation with that. Shoot. So what's crazy is Mood Swings was made as the first record we kind of created with him in the room.
Correct.
And that was the first time we had met him too, right? That was the first time you met him too.
Yeah, he cut a few songs that I had before, and that's like kind of like what set it up. But
What got us in the
but
door.
that was the first time we got to meet him and actually work with him in the rooms.
Yeah. And I remember him walking in being like, yo, I got this beat, which ended up being Mood Swings. And he was like, I want to do this like Prince thing. And he started spewing out all of his ideas. I kind of start humming a melody, and he's like, get this guy some headphones. We're both getting in the booth. We're going to walk this down. And I remember being like, walk it down. And then you passed me your phone with lyrics that you were kind of just marinating. And those ended up becoming the first words to the song. And needless to say, we walked the whole song down, just like in the booth from top to bottom.
Together, by the way,
together.
just so people are understanding.
Yeah,
they're
like,
both in the booth, and they're both like doing melody passes, writing lyrics. We're shooting them back and forth, and
yeah,
it was really awesome to see someone. I mean, because Mario as a vocalist, he's probably top 10 male vocalist of all time, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even. He might be higher than that, to be honest.
Probably.
He's really serious.
I mean, Let Me Love You, for instance, that shaped the way that I write songs. I grew up listening to that song, performing that song, and to be in the same studio, let alone the booth with him, was definitely surreal because we would literally write the lyrics to one line, and then he would take his headphone. Well, I had headphones, but he would be like, yo, step up to the mic and just do the next melody pass immediately after. And then I'd do something, and then I'd be like, what do you think about that? And he'd be like, that was fire. What are you talking about? And then he would do a run, then he would look back and be like, what did you think about that? And I'm like, bro, you're Mario. Of course it's good.
He almost does no wrong. It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think, that's what's really cool about, being a songwriter. I think that aspect of it is a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of bullshit that you have to deal with, which brings me to my next part of this story. Needless to say, we knocked that session out of the park. it ends up becoming the title track to the song, to the EP. He had kind of told us he wanted the EP to be called Mood Swings, so we were just like, bet the song would be called Mood Swings. And fast forward to them deciding to put it out, and I'm not on the credits. I think you were on the credits.
Yeah. Well, it's a little foggy a little bit because I just remember we weren't, it came out and I don't think anybody was on it at the time.
I think so.
I think that was.
It was
so
just one of his
the
writers that
credits-
he was kind of like
Yeah.
working with, that was signed.
And shout out to Cortland, by the way.
Cortland-
Cortland was there too.
Yeah, Cortland was there too.
Yeah,
That
Cortland
was the
showed up
first time.
about halfway through the song. I think he did like a lot of the second verse too as well. But
yeah,
But yeah, Cortland straight bodied it, went crazy.
went crazy.
But he was obviously on it because they're really tight. They work really closely together.
yeah,
But yeah, so I think it came out on a Friday, and I don't think anybody's credits were on, which sucked because as soon as it pops out, everyone's looking in the credits to see who did what, and it's
Yeah.
like, and so it comes out, but we can't even really post it yet.
I know, because it's like, what do you're gonna post about a song, and then they're gonna, the people that know are gonna check the comments and check the song credits, and if your name's not on there, it's like, why did you even say anything? So it's like such a cool moment, kind of soured a little bit just off of paperwork that just didn't get done, and I get it, there's a lot of moving pieces with dropping records and whatnot, but I mean, I think that's just a good testament to how songwriters get treated, especially aspiring and upcoming and people that don't have like the
catalog
of hits,
Mhm.
and I think there was definitely a lot to learn in that situation. I remember being really hurt about it because I'm,
and then you reached out, didn't you? You reached out and said something.
yeah, I was like, I DM'd him and I was like, bro, how are you not gonna put me on the credits of the song, dude? I was in the booth with you, He didn't respond. At least I didn't even think he saw it, So I was like, when we were contacting his management and all that stuff, and long story short, they eventually, figure it out and are like, yo, we got it. We're doing all this stuff, and we'll make it right. And obviously, still in the back of our heads, we're like, well, like that first week is the most important week for people that are actually going to be checking this in places that could help elevate our, careers. It's going to be that
100%.
first week, and
Or that first weekend for sure.
that first weekend for sure, and it took us like a week, maybe more.
I think it was
to
like
get on it.
Wednesday, Thursday of the next week. I think we got on it, and I think you still weren't on it, which was crazy. And I think, and then I think that's when you reached out and you're like, hey, like, what the F, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? And, and he didn't say anything. And then, you can.
Yeah. And funny story here, which we didn't get to this part of my life, which there's so much lore.
We kind of pivot. We'll go back on some other things. But
Yeah. But
this is in the songwriting
world,
of-
right?
yeah.
Which is after my record deal with Empire World.
We'll get to that.
Which
We'll get
Mario
to that right after
still.
this.
So yeah, Mario signed to Empire, and I was like, I know everybody over there. So I start hitting Tina Davis. I'm hitting my old A&R. I'm hitting their admin, and I'm just like, yo, what's going on? Like, I need my credit, And so now, Andy, Mario's manager, is now calling Reef and being like, yo, your homie Sonny's wildin'. Why is he blowing up everybody's phone and stuff like that? And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to get my credit. Like, I'm just trying to get my credit.
Not even talking about the splits that we're supposed to get that we still
Now that's a whole other
haven't got.
conversation. now.
We got 5% between like our team, and
Yeah.
we still haven't got that. So we're working it out.
So
We're figuring it out.
we're figuring it.
Yeah, but fast forward, and then we're over at Tommy Brown. Shout out Tommy Brown.
Shout out Tommy.
Tommy's
Yeah.
awesome.
Champagne.
Crazy champagne therapy, crazy producer.
Yeah.
And we show up for the camp one day, and Mario shows up, and
Oh my gosh, dude. You cannot make this up. We are literally at a camp. Mario shows up, and the first thing he says to me is like, he's like, damn, this guy cussed me out on DMs. I was like, yo, you saw that?
He didn't say anything.
How did you see that and not say anything? That's crazy. But
I'm dying, by the way, in the background because
dude,
I see him say it. I'm like, oh no!
Yeah.
'Cause mind you, SANNI did not say that he didn't tell anybody that he DM'd him. I found out that day.
I think I might have posted like something on my close friends,
Or
like
something.
saying that I did, but like it wasn't that. It wasn't like it was so under wraps that I mean, shoot, I even forgot that I did it. To be honest, once it got fixed, I was just like, I guess I'll just unsend it or something. He didn't even see it or whatever. But keep in mind, there's like 20 people, 20 other people that are in this studio, and he puts me on blast in front of all of them, and I'm like, well, what would you have done in that situation? You know, and that was also a really great conversation that we ended up, having after that, and he said his like, my bad, and like it's not even in my hands like that, like so many moving pieces, as I said, earlier. But yeah, we kind of kept it pushing, and hilariously, I ended up writing like the best song for him in that camp, and I think that one is almost definitely coming out.
Yeah, that song is incredible. Like when
Yeah.
when they played it, everybody was like, I mean, you guys were like made. You guys were like made for each other. You know what I mean? In a musical, musically. But yeah, yeah. But let's circle back a little bit because you said something about you being signed to Empire. So you get off tour, and then and then you're still in LA, I guess, or something.
So after tour,
Yeah. Tell me what happened on you getting signed to Empire and like that experience and what happened there.
yeah. So after tour, I ended up. My parents were like, "Yo, we've been here for 4 or 5 years. We don't even like the city like that. We're not city people. We're going back." And so there was a moment where I went back to Texas with them, and that was another moment actually that was pretty pivotal for me because I was doing other things. I was kind of like, maybe I'll take a step back from music a little bit and just kind of like, you know, live my life. Like I was in a long distance relationship at the time, and a lot of things happened to where I realized like I can't survive if I'm not doing music. I was working at a call center, and I was like, in hindsight, I can label it as depression. I went from like 180 pounds to 240 pounds, and I was just like unhappy. And I remember telling my parents like, "Yo, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. Like I just have to. There's it's out of my hands at this point. I just gotta go back." And so after a lot of elevated debates, you could say, they eventually agreed, and we're like, "All right, you do you. Go out there. We still love and support you. Um, do what you got to do." And I moved back out here around 2020, and then COVID hit, which was crazy. But during that time, I put together a project that was like basically 100% self-produced, um, called "If You Don't Understand, It's Okay." And that project landed me a deal over at Empire. And I could get into the weeds with how that all happened.
I mean,
Long story short.
I mean, honestly, I mean, I think just for people, just including myself, honestly, I think people want to hear how that went down because just in case someone else might be in the same situation, whether to you can just touch on it just a little bit.
Yeah. Long story short, I mean, I put out one of the singles called "Lately." I still sing it to this day. It's one of my favorite songs. And it ended up going viral on a DSP platform. Well, that's redundant. A digital streaming platform called AudioMac. And I remember receiving a DM from one of the co-founders. His name is Brian Zisuk, aka Z. Shout out Z. Um, Little side note about Z. He's one of the most knowledgeable, down to earth, music loving human I know. And I think he was one of the reasons I even hung in there in music in general. And I freaking so blessed to have him in my corner. And if you are watching this, love you. But yeah, so he DMs me and he's just like, yo, so my 4-year-old daughter keeps playing this song and I've heard it so many times that now I just have to DM you and be like, what's up, man? What's going on? Also, your song has 200,000 streams on this on my platform. And I was like, this is insane. We get on the phone. He's like, he basically helps me get a deal over at Empire. And my first song with them ends up becoming the most popular song um, that I have. Basically, I mean, thinking about you is still so popular, which is also a blessing. But Bling Up ended up doing really, really well for me, and that was the first time I was on New Music Friday. That was the first time that I was on some of these like reputable playlists. And I remember that being a really, really cool moment for me. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little random things that kind of happened within that space. Oh, my bad. Within that space and time span. But long story short, I mean, I learned a lot being signed to a record deal for the first time. I don't know if there's any questions that you have about that, but that would be like the wrap it up in a bow type answer.
And why aren't you with them right now?
Um, I just felt like a lot of the things that were working for me were due to my own actions, you know? And at a certain point, I realized that I really didn't necessarily need the services that they were providing me, basically, you know? Um, I still think they're cool. I think they're cool, but there was a few things that were handled in ways that I realized that I'm better off solo,
Like independent.
independent at that point, you know?
Got you.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that relationships are more important than talent, or the other way around?
Well, they're almost a little bit symbiotic in the sense that if you have the relationships but don't have the talent, it really wouldn't work out for you, and same vice versa. I do think having a certain amount of ability is important in this industry, but I think over time we're slowly kind of getting to this place where um if you play your cards right, you can almost outweigh talent easy, especially if you know the right people.
True. What's something that you had to like kind of like forgive yourself for, like as when it comes to like in the industry or like on your musical journey?
I think one of the biggest things that I've had to wrestle and sometimes still currently wrestle with myself is seeing things a certain way or go a certain way in my career. Um, an example being like maybe one day I'm like, I'm gonna put this song out, and then I'm gonna put this song out, and then this is gonna happen, and then I'm gonna go here, and then this is gonna happen. At the end of the day, you have no idea what's gonna happen tomorrow or the next day, let alone, you know, a whole album rollout, you know? And I think I was really slamming my head against a brick wall, basically, trying to make everything happen the way that I wanted it to happen. So I think, and I feel like a lot of artists could probably relate to that, especially when it comes to art and wanting your art to be portrayed in the way that you want it to be portrayed, you know? And I basically have had to tell myself, like, yo, I understand what you are looking to, I I understand what you're looking to achieve and the path that you've, you know, premeditated. But if something happens a certain way, don't beat yourself up over it, you know? Sometimes the obstacle is the way, you know? And so like that's been a sort of mantra that I've been trying to, keep in the back of my head, like operate with full intent, but also with as much flexibility as possible.
For sure. If like everything that you've done so far, like just your position you're in kind of disappeared, like right now, like what would make you start over?
My love for the game, man. That would be so real.
He said, "I never get too big for the program."
Yeah, man. Because I mean, I've stepped away a couple of times. I really have, like truly, and every time it's been a melody that I'll write or a lyric that I'll think, and it'll bring me right back. Like regardless of if I make it or not, um, I'm always gonna be making music. There's just it's just ingrained in me at this point.
Cool.
Yeah.
If your parents were sitting here right now, what would you thank them for?
I would thank them for forcing me into that, youth ministry to learn singing and dancing and acting. I would thank them for uprooting their lives and believing in me and helping me get to some of the highest successful moments in my career as an artist. I would thank them for sticking by my side and allowing me to leave the nest and move back out here and go for it. I would thank them for continuing to be supportive, and and kind of being my number one fan. Uh and I mean there's still things to thank them for, I mean I was just talking to my mom, you know, right outside before I came in here, and I kind of was giving her this whole like kind of rundown about like what I kind of want to do with like, really community building and, you know, everything from mailing lists to songs that I want to put out. And she's just like, let me know any way that I can help, because I believe in you. And I think that everything that you're doing is going to amount to something. And I mean, there's not enough thank yous in the world, to fully show how much I appreciate that.
Very lucky. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people
Yeah.
have those types of, you know, support in their life, like even with their parents. I know a lot of
Yeah.
parents are just kind of disconnected. They're like, I don't want to be an artist. I want to do music or paint or whatever. Anything creative is really like, different. But
Yeah.
in today's day and age with, you know, social media, I feel like almost anything's possible now, like, which is crazy.
For sure. But I definitely don't take it for granted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can put a little bow on this just real fast. I mean,
Mhm.
we can keep talking, but I just
Yeah.
I had if someone was watching this that wanted to be an artist that's like up and coming, like what advice would you give them that basically would save them years of time if you just were like, if you do this, this, and this, it's going to help you so much.
I do think I might have touched on it, but I honestly think that the obstacle is the way. Um, Blocking out any other people that might sway you away from what you feel like is your purpose and your message. Um, Finding that message and telling that story, all of those things are so, so important. All of those things almost matter more than creating. Because once you figure that stuff out, it allows you to create with intent and focus. And especially in such an oversaturated world like we're living in right now, it's very easy to be this thing one day and give that a try and then be something else the next day. But I think people are really just looking for something real, especially in a world where AI is kind of taken over, you know? And so the more that you can be real with yourself will in turn allow you to be more real and authentic to others.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want me to ask you, or that I haven't asked you, or that you wanted to touch on,
Um,
or ask me, or whatever? I mean,
I
anything.
think, I guess, well, shoot, I mean, I think kind of like like how basically right now even like we're working on new content. I'm starting a new TikTok account and trying to tell my story from the beginning again, you know. My handle is sounds like SANNI on TikTok. And then just SANNI on Instagram and pretty much everything else. But I think I've had the most fun recently starting a brand new account from zero and just connecting with people that have never seen me before. Um, and I think it's reminded me of how much I really do just enjoy that act of connecting with new people and putting a smile on their face, or like allowing them to go through something that they've um, been going through, and just helping them kind of go through that emotion and feeling. I get comments, you know, every so often I'll catch the algorithm and my video will be seen by like 15 to 20,000 people, and there's just hundreds of comments of people that are like, "Yo, like I just lost this relative or this spouse, and this just really helped me get through that." And sometimes I'm just in my car, just at the park, playing a song on my guitar and just singing a cover, you know. And
How does that
it's
make you
you know,
feel? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
oh,
how does it make you feel like when people say those things?
it puts it into perspective in a way that makes it so real that it makes me feel um like what I'm doing is like a real tangible thing, if that makes sense. You know, because we've written probably hundreds of songs at this point. And it's very easy to be like, oh, cool, we wrote this song and now we're gonna put it out, and oh, people like it, sick, you know. But those moments where people are coming up to us and saying like, oh, that song, I listen to it at the gym every day, or wow, like I just haven't experienced this said in this way, and that really reminds me of my ex from this time and this place. And when I play this song, I can smell what the environment was that day when this happened. It's like, yo, what? Damn. you know like there's things that really make it real. And honestly, right now I'm really just chasing that connection, and I think with that being the target for me, um, it's really just kind of like one, kind of like allowed myself to kind of like get this weight off my shoulder, because it's a gift and a curse knowing exactly what you're meant to do on this planet. You know, because sometimes it's like, if I'm not doing that, nothing else matters, and if I'm not doing it and effectively, everything sucks. you know and sometimes that could just be a metric, and I think a lot of people as artists um look at their numbers and curse the algorithm and go like, none of this matters. But at the end of the day, if you're connecting even with one person, and you're putting your art into the world, not knowing what could happen, I think that vulnerability and those connections should make everything worth it. Yes, we have to put food on our table, and that's what really is tough. Like living in LA and being in the red with any artist thing that you do, is it's a tough one to juggle. But if you just let the goalpost be connecting, and I love to make music, and I just want to make sure that my message is just heard. I think it definitely allows you to at least breathe a little bit better, sleep a little easier at night.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, me and Mace, like I said, we are. I super fans of you. And ever since we met and started working, however many 3 years ago now, I think, like, you've made me a believer. And I know we've tried this one other time of being like, okay, let's really dive into the music that you've made and like really focus on what you have to show the world, because like I think it needs to be heard. And me and Mace have that running joke. She's like, I want to go. She's like, I'm going to go see Coachella and see Justin Bieber. I was like, relax. We got Justin Bieber at home. Okay. Just relax.
Yeah,
okay?
dude.
I get it. But
It's great.
we got JB at the crib. So, but,
I love it,
but
dude.
no, man, I'm super excited.
Thank you,
to
man.
see where this goes. I mean, like I said, we've been shooting so much content, and it's because I feel like it's time, and the
Yeah.
records that we've made that were specifically for you have been really, I feel like, resonating with people.
Yeah.
I know you have a song coming out. You want to
Plug that?
Plug that real quick.
This one's a long time coming. First, I do want to say I really appreciate those words, and I would not have nearly the amount of confidence walking into this new chapter of telling my story and doing what I've done my whole life at the highest possible level for myself. I would not be nearly as confident if I didn't have you writing for me, Mace writing for me, Reef's out there somewhere writing for me, Tay's out there somewhere writing for me. So it's like I appreciate you, man, for real, for real. With that being said, I completely forgot exactly what I was.
Karma that's coming out.
Karma.
Yes,
Yeah. So
Karma.
my record. So I've taken a little hiatus of dropping records. We've been so locked in over at Champagne and with Tommy, that it's kind of like, kind of caused us to kind of like take a step back from the releases that we had planned. But
Which was amazing, by the way.
It was incredible.
It's still amazing.
I love it over there. Great energy. We've learned so much as songwriters, as business people, as human beings. Honestly, going through all those sessions and the experiences that we've kind of shared or heard about through those through Tommy and his team. But I think it's actually perfect timing, stepping into this new place of putting music out, and it's always been Karma to be the first song to really kick off everything, and I'm so excited.
Do you have a release date?
What's up?
Do you have a release date yet?
Yes, I do. I don't exactly know if it's 1,000% going to be this date. I can give you a date, but I don't know for sure. I still gotta have to talk to my people as far as what it is.
There's someone else on it too, right? There's a
There
feature.
is a feature on it. My good friend Edwin Honor it. Shout out Edwin.
Shout out Edwin. Super dope.
Super
so talented.
Super talented, man. I think in this next chapter of my artistry, in telling my story, I've been really I've tried to remain kind of cognizant of trying to associate myself with people that I feel are like-minded, people that I feel are doing what I'm doing at a higher level, and people that are freaking super talented. And Edwin checks those boxes for me. Let alone he's just a great guy. He's just a great dude.
He's a super, yeah. Edwin is one of my favorite artists that I've met in a long time. So.
Yeah. So I remember we wrote this song with Jordan
yeah.
James.
Shout out Jordan James, one of the best producers we know.
Yes.
Young cat, super dope.
Yeah. To keep it just to give you an example of how dope he is. He was like, why don't you sing something, I don't know, like old school or something like that, and then maybe we'll sample it and make it a beat. And I remember going, I gave you all that you need. I keep on running, keep on fighting for you. Karma comes back, best believe. It's too much trouble, baby, loving you. And I did that, and he was like,
yeah, that'll work.
He was like, cool. I don't know where that came from. I just freestyled it, and then it just became the sample to this song and it just took a whole different life of its own. And I remember being so excited about that song. sent it to Edwin, along with a couple other songs, because I knew that I wanted to get him on something. And the next day he sends me what the verse is, and I was
And
like,
he went crazy.
yeah, bodied it out the stratosphere. So it's been a long time coming with this one, and I'm really, really excited for it to be coming out very soon.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Jeez.
honestly, I don't really have anything else. We're definitely going to do this again.
Yeah, we got to. We got
Because
to.
I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing. Like I said, you're my test subject, obviously. But
Guinea pig.
But
Yeah.
You're my guinea pig right now. But I know it's going to be amazing. I'm going to try to get more people like Edwin and the people over at Champagne too. I hope they said that some of them said they were down. So I'm just really excited. Like I said, thanks for pulling up and thanks for locking in.
Yes.
No,
dude,
for sure.
dude. Thank you for having me. I definitely want to do this again. I definitely think it's also we should do one where we're telling your story, because
I want to. We will. I'm going to do like 3 or 4. I might get 4 to 5 more interviews in, and then when I have them backlogged, I'll do another one, and you can interview me. How's that sound?
Yeah,
Is that
I'm
cool?
so down.
All right,
so
fire.
down.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff I could talk about, my journey and stuff. It'll be exciting.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm already knowing. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I'm sure I'm gonna even learn more stuff about it.
It'll be super fun. So, but yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yes, locked in. Episode 1.